Hello, language lovers. This is SamThing To Say. I'm Sam. I'm your co host, and I'm here because I have something to say. And I'm sure my friend Eliseu has something to say as well. How are you, Eliseu?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here. Actually, it was an option that you had to have me here today, and I'm glad to be here on your show on Something to Say.
Yeah, awesome. It's great to be one of the hosts because I have always you've always gave me a lot of freedom to be creative and add my own like um, let's say sauce to this. But now it's even better because I can also make my own episodes and also like bring guests and of course I can help even more now because I can also have this creative freedom to create stuff here as well. So I'm really happy to be here once again because we have something to say. And before we start, if you are watching live, leave a comment. You can talk to us anytime. You can interact. This is going to be recorded, of course, if you're listening from the future. Hello from the past. And leave a comment, something here in the chat. If you're here, say, I'm here, I'm watching, I'm listening, wherever you are. And yeah, because it's awesome to be here. And before we start this episode, Eliseu has a message about our awesome Patreon program.
Yeah, we have a Patreon program, and you can support us being part of join our community, join our Patreon community, and there you have some exclusivities. So we have a blog, we interact with patrons, we have calls, we have extra episodes or have full episodes. Sometimes we cut episodes or we don't see everything. So there patrons have access to everything earlier. So and they can send also questions. So you can find everything in the description of this episode. And as well, if you want to support even more our project, you can support us via PayPal is also an option, and everything is in the description of the episode. You can easily find everything there.
Awesome, awesome. So without further ado, I think we should dive in today's topic, which we're going to talk about our methods and the tools that we are using right now. So our current method and the tools that we think are important nowadays. I think the best way to help the most people is to talk about free tools that you can use and also stuff that we think are important, which are paid. But I think like keeping the balance is going to be all inclusive, right? So everyone will be able to use those tools, right? So yeah. So tell me, Eliseu, what is like the most important tool you think? I know it's hard to choose just one because of course I know you use more than one, but if you had to choose like one, what is your favorite or what do you think is a must-have in like everyone's routine?
Ooh, wow. I think that a must is input. So you need to have a lot of input and you need to find a way to have quality input. So I would say that one of my favorite tools is language reactor. I would say, you can,
Mm.
because I can use to watch shows and I can have double subtitles. So I have two subtitles in my target language and in the language that it's translated. If you pay for the premium version, you can also save the words you don't know. So every time that they will appear there, I think they appear in a different color or something like that. You can check the meaning there as well. So for me, it's a very useful tool. And if you have like a short episode of a series or something, I think you can work on that in a very interesting way because you can have access to the full script before you watch it. So you can take the full script, put it in a Google Doc, check the words you don't know or check the most frequent words that you see there. And after you understand these words that you don't know, when you go to watch it, you are this probably not so comprehensible input becomes comprehensible input and you can take the most out of it. So I feel that you can do a lot with language reactor. And but maybe it can be a little bit challenging if you have still like a low level, and especially a low level of comprehension when the language is very different. It can be very challenging as well. But in my opinion, it also helps you to recognize the most frequent words. It's a way that it's more fun having quality input than actually making flashcards with the most frequent words or reading a list, a frequency list or whatever. That I think can be a very interesting tool. What do you think?
No, absolutely. I agree. You mentioned something that is very important, which is like the level of the person, right? So I think if you are an absolute beginner, of course, there are people like me. I don't know how you deal with it, but like I like to get input from like day one, right? So like I'm weird and like I like immersion. But some people will get demotivated if they can't understand anything about something they're doing or consuming or
You
practicing.
know, something I think about it that you said I think is very important, but I believe, I don't know if you agree with that, that this is one of the main differences between children and adults. I believe that adults are capable to learn languages much quicker than children. However, I feel that children, they are not so bored when they do not understand it. It doesn't annoy them if they are listening to something they do not understand. While adults have this issue, we re- we lose interest, we don't keep attention, and I feel that it plays an important role like this. You need to listen even if you don't understand. You will get used to that. The more resources you add, it's important. Do you agree with that? Do you see the same way?
Absolutely. Children are more curious, right? Like in the way that they want more and more of that. Instead of like getting demotivated, they want more. Like they want to know, oh, I want to know how it's like pronounced or what does this mean? So I think that's a great like trait that we should try and cultivate more, which is like not getting demotivated when you don't understand something because bro, even like me with Serbian right now, I feel like my Serbian has improved a lot, but of course, there are things I don't understand. If I go to Serbia, for example, I'm sure that if I see two Serbs talking to each other, I'll probably understand like 30% or something. I don't even know. But I know this, of course, because it's practice. Like you're learning. It's like how do you say this? It's like completing a puzzle, right? Like solving a
Yeah,
puzzle. You need
so
different parts of the puzzle, different pieces of the puzzle to complete it. So because we're learning a language, even if you have a teacher, even if you have like a course, language is not something like there's this like a perfect, right, like thing that you will learn. Even if you use like structure, it's not going to be perfect. There will be things there, even if you had the lesson, something about that you don't understand yet, it's fine. That's how it works. So you just keep completing the puzzle forever. I think forever is a never ending
forever.
process of solving a puzzle. So like of course there will be things that you won't understand, so being having that armor before you start is great. But yeah, I agree with you. I think like we can learn fast. A lot of people think differently because they focus on the part of the children absorbing more vocabulary, let's say, because of the brain. And it's true, maybe, yeah, in this aspect, maybe, but like the other aspect is we understand grammar. We have already the influence of our native language constructed, like already. I know you don't have to be an expert, but if you know what a sentence is, what a verb is, it helps you. Like what a
Helps
pronoun
a,
is,
helps
it
a
helps
lot. Yeah.
you, right? Like a child doesn't know that. Um, but anyways, I think
You know,
that
I'm just sorry for interrupting you.
no, it's
Another
fine.
thing that believe that children do that it's very good. I don't know if children still do it, yeah, nowadays. But I think when we were children, we used to watch the same thing many times. So, like for example, I have no idea how many times I watched Lion King when I was a child. So it's a way of having like repetitive input. While adults do, I think not usual. It's not usual for adults to watch the same things many times, and I think it's a kind of a good exercise to absorb the because every time we watch it or listen to it, you will understand more than the previous time. And adults do not do that, and children do. And I think it also plays an important role.
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%. I think repetition, right, is very important in language learning. And it's true, we don't watch the same thing. Maybe we have like a favorite movie or something.
Hmm.
Yes, but we don't watch it like about 20 times. Also because we don't have the time, right? When we're children, we have all the time in the world to watch this kind of stuff. Going back to what you talked about, like levels in tools. I think so. If you're not one of those people who want immersion from day one, who got too overwhelmed with like too much struggle in the beginning, it's I know struggle is unavoidable. I think a little struggle is amazing. But if you're like completely doing stuff that you don't want to do ever, then that's not good. It's a sign that you need to change your approach, in my opinion. I don't think language learning shouldn't be okay. A walk in the park, yes, like you're gonna have struggles, but I don't think it should be hell either, right? I think it should be in between, something like a little struggle, fun, a little struggle, fun, right? Like a combination of those. So in
Yeah.
the beginning, I think using a tool like Duolingo or something like that maybe can be a good tool for someone who's starting out, especially if it's a distant language, right? So I think using Duolingo in the beginning is actually good because it teaches you sentences. It's gonna show you what the pronouns, like the basic stuff that you need to get that, like the initial push. Let's say. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I believe as well, especially because if someone who does not have experience with language learning, I think Duolingo gives you all like many tools that you don't need to think about. And of course, it's not the perfect method, but for someone who just want to learn one foreign language, has never done that before, I think it can be a good approach from day zero. Yeah, I think can be a good source, and it's for free. Like we had an episode about Duolingo, right? And I think this is also a good advantage because not everyone has. Imagine like they are learning a Scandinavian language. How much a tutor costs?
Yeah. No,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, so it's quite hard. So I think Duolingo also can be a good tool if we know how to use it.
No, yeah, absolutely. There's a comment here from Leonardo, right? Inglês em 60 segundos, English in 60 seconds. He's saying, man, YouTube trolled me hard this time. I spent this whole time waiting the live it started and it wasn't granted access. What? Got stuck in the waiting screen. No, no, but you're here
No.
now, Leonardo.
Yeah,
That's the
we,
most
we just
important.
got a little bit late with some technical issues, but we're here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because also, like, it's the first episode, right? Like, of something to say, new season two. It's a new thing. We're still like, of course, I'm learning in this process as well. Like, Eliseu has a lot of experience with podcasting. I'm a newbie, even though like I've been to so many as a guest, right? It's like, I actually had a podcast once. It was very short. It was nothing like this. It was just me recording like on my phone, like random stuff, was nowhere near LingoCast. So it's a pleasure. I want to thank Eliseu publicly. I want to thank already thanked him many times, but I'm going to thank him publicly now. Of giving me this chance, right? Like this opportunity to be part of the team and to share more about Polyglosam, right? About myself, about my like methods, theories, or struggles, and because I think it's really important to try and share valuable, I would say positive, right? And helpful like content in language learning, not like flexing, not like being oh man, oh we speak a billion languages or like whatever, learn this language in 1 week. Which is also cool because like I watched a lot of videos of even people that a lot of people that I respect, like Xiaoma. He does some videos like I learned Portuguese in 1 month, and that's great. I love that. I watch this kind of thing. That's the thing. I'm not hating. On the other like on the contrary, I love it. I love it. I'm just saying that it's also cool every now and then to watch and to listen or to consume content more that goes a little deeper in some other stuff. It's just different types of content, right? I think you should have both. You should have the fun, like the thing that you watch for like entertainment and motivation, and also the ones that are gonna help you with tools, methods, and stuff like that. I'm sure Xiaoma shares this stuff as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think the entertaining part is also plays an important role. Like because in all these guys that they've been here for a long time, they created a community, and in this community you have any kind of content. You have guys who have been doing something with exclusively for one language, like Davide. for Italian for many years, or you have, or Lucy, for example. You have guys that have been talking about language learning for a long time, like Luca or Steve, and you have guys who do more entertaining, very very entertaining, very nice videos as well, like Xiaoma, for example. So I think we have any kind of content. We also do a little bit of entertaining, yeah. So it's not the traditional kind of video. We have a podcast. I think people have fun listening to us. So yeah, I think it's beautiful what all of us have been creating in the language learning community. But you didn't tell us what's your current method, because we see on Instagram that you've been currently focusing a lot on Russian and Serbian. What methods, what tools have you been using for these languages?
Very good. I have to share more stuff about Chinese on my Instagram too, because I'm learning Chinese, but I don't post a lot about it. It's true. But you know why? It's There's the thing. It comes from let's say, to be honest, like I like being honest here, and I'm not sharing a lot of stuff about Chinese. There's a reason behind that. That's because my Chinese sucks. Like since I'm
Yeah.
starting out, like I'm feeling a little bit like, man, should I share this? Sometimes I get like this, but I will share more. I shared a video once that I was finding out how to say parents in Chinese. It was like baba, mama, something like this. Uh, and then I found it was really Chinese is like a really funny language for me, like in everything, like the sounds. I just find it very funny, not in a bad way, not in like mocking the language way, more in like it sounds entertaining, it sounds amusing for me. Um, and yeah, but like my methods right now, okay. I still use Duolingo for Chinese because I'm still a beginner, so it does help me. Um, and the tool I use the most right now is Natural Fluency, which is an AI that gives you lessons. Yeah, it's like a teacher, like a virtual teacher, and it's much better than using an AI like ChatGPT or something like that, because it's more like a teaching environment, right? It's more like you go there and you have the actual lesson. The teacher is like trained to be an actual teacher. Like for Russian teacher, you can choose Russian, German, French, Spanish. I'm using it for French and Russian right now, mostly because I'm also gonna start teaching French soon for beginners. So yeah, I'm like, let's say, recycling or getting content again with the French language. Of course, I can speak French well, but you need to. I like being in the battlefield, like actually being there, skin in the game, right? So I'm doing that. So I think, of course, you shouldn't start using AI in the beginning. Maybe if you like, if you're like me, then yes, you should. But like, but if you're one of the people who want to have some vocabulary, some preparation before using it, it's a good idea to try and start with apps like Duolingo or even like Tandem if you want to learn sentences from native speakers. Like you can actually ask them, how do I say this? How do I say that? Say, I'm a beginner. I don't know anything. I can help you with my native language, but like I want to know how to say, how can I get to the restaurant or something, and then you can learn all these words. And I'm sure like you can find people that are going to help you. Sometimes it takes a long time to find a good language exchange partner, which is a good topic that we should explore more. um, it takes a long time sometimes, but I think also try and make a lot of friends. I think trying to make friends, like Eliseu helped me to find my language exchange partner for Serbian, Irena. Thank you so much, Irena, for your help. So he introduced me to her, and he said she speaks Serbian. You should have a language exchange. She speaks Portuguese as well. So definitely make a lot of friends. Ask us, send us a message. Like I'm sure we can help as well. And yeah, the tool that I use the most is definitely Natural Fluency, this AI. And I'm gonna leave the link in the description for those who want to try that out. Also, I have a discount. I have 50% discount actually if you use my coupon. So you're gonna pay half the price, and it's very very cheap. So make sure you check that out if you are interested. What about you,
I
Eliseo? What
think
do you use?
even beginners can use it for to practice the most common questions, right? So to make them more automatic, I think, oh, where are you from? How old are you? And to practice these things, I think can be a good way to practice it, like to get automatic. Yeah, this.
Absolutely. If you learn how to say just like how say this, you can already use actually Natural Fluency.
Yes, so that's
Because
a
the
very good
rest,
tip. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I have been doing? I have done something really differently, really different this year. Um, I decided to take that because nowadays I dropped almost all the languages, like 6 languages. I will have a video about it. But what I decided to do is most of my languages now they are in a level at least B2, except for Russian. I will say it is a B1. So my comprehension is quite good. So I try to mix it with something that I really like. It's rap. So you know that I listen to rap a lot all the time, basically only rap almost. So I take like one song and I put it in a doc. I highlight the words that I don't know. I check them or ask a friend, and I try to turn this text into a comprehensible text. And I think the difference is a song is something that we listen to many times, while a video we usually don't do that. So every time I listen to this song, I remember the meaning. So it's like a way of recalling these new words and memorizing them. It's like a space repetition. So I decided to do this, and I noticed that again came what you said, the level. So we need to bear in mind the level. And I noticed that I did it with Italian, but the whole text, like the whole song, there was like 6 or 8 words that I didn't know. But for Russian, I need more time. So I decided, okay, for Italian, I have 1 week, 5 days to work with the text. For Russian, I need 3 weeks to internalize the song and so on. So I'm trying to give it the right time for that, and it's something that I enjoy doing, to understand the text, understand sometimes some very some cultural references that you need to ask native speakers that you don't know, and you absorb something new about the language, about the country. So I've been enjoying doing that. So every time I listen to some songs in a specific playlist, I understand them like 100%, even the references, or things that it's was said in a way, but it actually means something different, but you don't know because you didn't know the reference. And these things have been really nice for me. Of course, I have a B2 level for all these languages, but it's very useful for me. And it has been helping me. And also an advantage I think that rap has comparison with other styles of music, music genres, is rap is spoken. So yeah, so you get a little bit, you can practice your diction when you are trying to, if you try to shadow, to do some shadowing of it. So I think it can be a good math as well.
No, I love.
And yeah, yeah, have you ever done that with a
No,
song?
bro. I'm. I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I really like Eminem. So
Hmm.
when I was learning English, bro, I even memorized, like, of course now some parts are gonna be a little bit weird, but like I kind of memorize. If I read it again, I remember. Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Hmm.
So I actually, okay, so this is something to say, so I have to say stuff here, and I'm gonna say something that only a few people know about this information. People who went to Mundolingo in that day on, I think it was on a Wednesday. I think it was 3 weeks ago or something. Yeah. Yeah. So I went there. There was a karaoke like thing going on at Mundolingo. For those who don't know, Mundolingo is like an event where people from all over the world, they get together to practice languages, to meet new people. It's like a party environment, so it's just like a party with drinks and stuff, but you also practice languages there if you want. So you have the flags, and everyone gets the flag that the language that they speak. So yeah, I've been going to those and I love it. I love it. Paulina is doing an amazing work. If you're listening to this, Paulina, congratulations. So for those who don't know, Paulina is the organizer of Mundolingo in Rio. So there was a karaoke thing going on. I was like, bro, I'm gonna sing in that thing. And my Canadian friend said, no, don't do that. Actually, no. He was very motivating. He was like, oh yeah, if you want to go, let's go. And then like I went there, and then I made like the worst decision in my life, which was picking Eminem as a song to sing. Bro, I chose Lose Yourself out of confidence because like I know this song, I'm gonna kill it. And then the problem is when you are singing like it's alone, right? When you say like you better lose yourself in the music the moment you want, it's fine, right? I can like speak low and it works. Not at the karaoke with a lot of noise, man. So I had to like kind of scream the words, and I was out of breath very fast. like very fast, right? I think I think in the first verse, if I when I said like 5 sentences, I was already out of breath because the song doesn't stop and I have to say loud, bro. It was a mess. Like I didn't like the result. Sometimes I was like, and then the words, and I couldn't stop because the karaoke doesn't stop. The song goes on, right? So it was
100%, yeah.
it was interesting. I have the video, but I'm never gonna share it.
And I feel that also when you are doing something like that and you hear your own voice, you get distracted, right? Because you need to think really fast and read really quick. So
Absolutely.
when you're doing with the song in the background, with the voice in the background, you don't hear your voice. But when you hear it, you get distracted and it becomes a mess. So
Bro, I have now a recommendation for you guys. Don't pick Eminem as a song in karaoke. That's a bad idea. Don't pick any rap because you're gonna get out of breath unless you're very used to it. Like unless you are a rapper, don't do it. My brother is a rapper, by the way. That's why I know this kind of stuff. But anyways, about method, more about the method that that I'm using. I forgot to say that I use also WeChat for Chinese, so I talk to Chinese people there. Duolingo and WeChat for Chinese. But yeah, my method is mainly like like yours. It is with a lot of input. I really like using YouTube, so watching videos. I do this a lot with Serbian. I watch YouTubers now. Now it's even better now that I can understand right what they're saying. So now it's much easier. Of course, it gets much easier when you're like in an intermediate level of the language. It becomes easier to consume other types of content, right? But like Eliseu said, you could use repetition. Even if you are an absolute beginner, you can watch the same movie that you love many times and focus on some parts and learn new vocabulary and do different things, right? Like listen with the subtitles, and then without the subtitles, and then with subtitles in your native language, because you can change the approach, and this way you can learn in different ways. Use the same movie to learn different things or the same piece of content. So I think a lot of input is very important, and also speaking. So I use natural fluency a lot because I really think that speaking is like very important. I write with my friends online. Even with natural fluency, you can write an essay after the end of the lesson. You can write an essay. They give you a theme, and you can write about any theme you want, and they correct your the AI corrects your essay as well. So I think like really all the I know grammar is really important. Writing they're all important because you want to read and understand the language, right? For me, is very important. But I think if you don't listen a lot and you don't speak a lot, everything's gonna go very much slower, right?
100%, yeah. And what you mentioned before, language exchange. Like this is a question. I mean, you use AI much more than I do. What do you think about you have language exchange and you also do the some output with AI? What's the main difference for you on like because I recently a friend of mine said AI will replace the language exchange. I think it will not. For me, I don't use AI. Okay, so when I will start using it, I can can have a different opinion maybe, but I feel that the experience of making a friend and talking with your friend every week is completely different than talking with AI. But how do you see it? Yeah,
I
you
agree,
use both of them, yeah.
100%, 100%. I think the human thing, right? The human aspect for me is very important. So I only use AI as training. It's impossible unless you are crazy. I think unless you are a crazy person, I don't think you can. Of course, I think the owners of Natural Fluence, if they're listening to this, they're not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but it's a different thing, right? I know that, and I'm not saying this as a bad thing. I think it's two separate things: the real world and the AI thing you're using to learn the language. I see it only as a tool. So, like, I'm using it to not, for example, I make the same. Usually, we in general make the same mistakes. Like, we usually struggle with similar stuff, or like we get stuck in some things because that's how the brain works, right? With the AI, you can go ahead like straight to that point whenever you want. For example, if it's midnight and I have like a doubt, like the thing that I keep making mistakes in Russian. Let's say I don't know how to use this specific case, the dative. I don't know. Like let's say I don't know, and then I can go there and like say the sentence, and I can ask the teacher, the AI, to correct me or to give me examples or to explain better or to say like where am I making a mistake. So I can go straight to that, and for the next time I talk to someone, like from in real life, in the language exchange or in anything I go, even in person, I'm gonna know, right? Because I've been practicing, and that's the thing, right? Like we want that connection, but the AI prepares you for that. I feel that, that the only like that's the main difference. It's like AI is like preparation, and then real life is real life, where you're gonna get the most
Mhm.
joy. I think the actual fun is in the real life. Yeah, absolutely.
So like if you make a comparison, maybe AI is like working on the gym while the language exchange is the trainings to prepare you to feel comfortable when you're on the match, right? When you're in the game. So yeah, I feel I like that. I mean, it's really interesting. I used a little bit AI, but I haven't used this a lot. I haven't had a lot of time. I've been doing a lot of stuff nowadays, but yeah, it's cool to know. I mean, people have one more option of output, so I think it's great. But I would like to know, you've posted that you've been having a language exchange with Irena. I think only with Irena, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And how do you feel that it has helped you? How do you do the language exchange, and how is it? Can you share a little bit?
No, yeah, absolutely. So first of all, Irena is the most amazing language exchange like partner you could have because she speaks very good Portuguese, right? She speaks a lot of languages. She already knows, she has experience in doing these kind of things. So everything's much easier.
Yeah,
But
100%.
honestly, yeah, honestly, our language exchanges are more like just talking about life. Like we just go there and like say what is going on right now. Like how is your life? What is new? Like what do you like? For example, your struggles, something fun that's happening in your life right now, your plans, like traveling and stuff like that. So we just talk about that, and we correct each other. You also gave me a very useful tool, which is like having the documents, but I'm nowhere near as organized. So we just use like Google, like the Google Doc thing, which is just docs, and then we put the sentences there. By the way, I have to remember to review them because I every now and then I review, but I have to review more, right? I don't know if you guys struggle with the same thing as me, but like going there and looking at the actual notes is a struggle for me. I don't do it very often.
Something you can do that if you have language exchange weekly, you can read all the words from the previous language exchange before doing the new one. So take there like 15, 10 minutes and you do it
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
recall them. Yeah.
Bro, it's just go in there and do it. Like that's the thing. I just have to remind myself. Actually, I have to put the timer, the yeah, the time, like not the timer, the alarm clock or something before, like you said, 10 to 15 minutes every single time. So this way I can go there straight, and whenever there's a language exchange, the document should be the first thing, not the language exchange. I think doing this to become a habit is what I have to do. I'm gonna start doing this for the next one, which is gonna be this upcoming week. I'm gonna do this. Thank you. So you guys, if you heard this, okay. So next time you have the language exchange or a lesson, go to the notes first.
And
Go through the notes.
a question about your language exchange. Do you, at least when I do it with Irena, we talk, for example, 30 minutes in a language, and when we hit 30 minutes, we switch and the other 30 minutes in the other language. Do you do the same way?
Yeah, we don't keep like so much track, but it's like around 30 each. Sometimes it's more, like sometimes it's 41, sometimes it's 21, sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's even more than 1 hour. So like sometimes it's 30, and then 15 of the other. Because like it's just so much fun. So like but we make sure that we have balance. She makes sure, because sometimes I'm like okay, speaking Portuguese and getting into it, get very much into it, speaking Portuguese, because we're friends. And then it's like, okay, Serbian now. She actually reminds me. So that's why I said it is great. But yeah, I think like you said, if you want to have a very productive and a good language exchange, you should have notes. You must have that. You must have the right amount of time for each language, right? What else must you have? I think also having, like, making it clear, a safe space for correction. This is very important
Important, yeah.
because a lot of people can get that insecure, or a lot of people don't like when you correct them, to get corrected. But I think it's important, if you go to a language exchange, to open yourself for correction, and to both of you should know, like, to be certain that
And
you
how
should
to do
correct
it
one
as well, yeah.
another, and how to do that, not be like rude, right? And like do it, like say, "Ah, come on, like you made a mistake here again. Like don't be like don't get angry or something."
Yeah.
I think also like just or as we do, Eliseu, me and Irena, we actually do a lot of just writing instead, and
Yeah.
we are looking
To,
to the
to,
notes.
to not interrupt, yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
I also do
Like,
like this. Something that I think I want to improve in my language exchanges. I want to write down the topics I want to talk about, and leave the topics I want to talk about for my language. And when this is the language of my language partner, whatever it is, Italian or Portuguese that I'm helping the person with, to let the person to ask the questions to the person, and to let the person talk about the things that she or he wants to say. Because, for example, you haven't talked for 1 or 2 weeks with your language partner, you just started the call, then you want to have the news. Yeah, what happened, how was your trip, how was your vacation, how was your weekend? But sometimes, for example, okay, but why I will make my language partner tell how her trip was in German if she's German? I can actually ask in Portuguese when is the time to speak Portuguese, and I think it can be more effective and more productive. And I think it's something that I would like to improve in my language exchange.
bro, I think you're like the language exchange expert for real. I think you should start a course. For real, I'm not
About
even joking.
language.
I'm like, yeah, how to do the proper language exchange, like for real, or even like not even a course, but like a mini course or a video or something, because you know so much about this. Like you introduced me to it, and you also motivated me to do the language exchange. So I think a lot of people should listen to what you have to say about it because you really know a lot about this and you're very organized and like you've already tried you tested for yourself a lot of things. So I think this is really important. People should really value that experience
Hmm.
because when they are going to start having a
Yep.
language exchange, like we don't know anything, right? Like you're going to oh, let's go there, and you can waste a lot of time doing that when you can listen to someone like you who's done it so many times and like just emulate and try and not copy but like try and learn from you. Okay, going
Hmm.
back to levels, I want to go back to
Yeah,
levels because we,
just for
yeah.
people who's watching that, if you want a mini course about language exchange or ebook or whatever it is, just leave a comment. Let's see if people are interested in it. So that's something that can be a good idea if people are really interested in the topic.
Absolutely. So leave a comment or reach out to us in any way. Just talk to us and tell what you think about this idea because I think it's gonna be. I for myself from like talking to you about it, I've learned a lot. So I think that a lot of people could benefit from that. Anyways, going back to levels, I think we talked about beginning like a beginner stage, which is like trying to do something more simple and fun that just keeps you accountable, but also like teaches you the basics of the language. I think using tools that teach you the basics, like Duolingo or an AI like a natural fluency to learn like just the basics. You can also actually choose your level there, so it's very good. Or even YouTube videos that are very simple. So like watching a YouTube video about very basic sentence survival, right? Like survival Chinese, let's say, or the pronouns, stuff like that. You have to know those kind of stuff, right? Or the most used verbs. Also, that's the beginning stage. So I think like for intermediate, then it's time for you to double down on like input and output, right? Like to double down because now you can understand more. Now you can watch more like native content. So it starts like it opens up a new world in an intermediate stage. So I think a lot of input, even more YouTube now for anything you want to watch, right? Or like movies, series. Yeah, talking more. I think like in intermediate stage, it's very important to speak really a lot because you're in that stage of like getting to advanced, so you really need to master speaking, and it takes a long time. Like it's not easy. You just have to persevere, not stop, and keep speaking as much as you can, at least once a week. But if you could do more, it's even better. But like I think at least once a week speaking like with someone, you can speak with like like using AI or you can do anything in the other days of the week. But I think like speaking to someone for real or having a teacher, a tutor, or a language exchange partner at least once a week is going to help you immensely. It may not sound like a lot, but honestly, if you don't do it, bro, like you won't get anywhere. Like, trust me.
Yeah. You know what? I have a very good example. I mean, my Italian is pretty good. So I lived in Italy, but still, my language partner, which is Davide, we haven't had language exchange for a long time because of some about we've been busy. I went to Brazil, time zone was crazy, and I went to Italy. So I was in Italy last week, and I remember my first interaction in Italian. I remember that one of my friends, he was laughing because the person didn't understand me. I had a little bit like a difficulty to order the focaccia I wanted to order, and my friend was like, "It's the first time I see you struggling with Italian," simply because even if I have a very good level in Italian, for not speaking any Italian in the past 3 months, my Italian was a little bit. I like to use the word deactivated because I need to keep it fresh and ready to use, and it was not. So I needed to think a lot. It didn't came out from my mouth in the way I wanted, and the person didn't understand. So if I would, for languages that yesterday I had a conversation in German with a girl who that came to watch the stand up, and she said, "Oh my god, your German is really good." And but I have language exchange in German every week. It's automatic. I was ready for the interaction. So even if you speak the language in a very good level, I think it's important to keep it. Like playing football, doing any kind of activity like this, even if you know it, even if you've done this a lot, if you forget it, you get unused to do that. So I think it's important to keep it.
No, absolutely. Just look at if you guys like football, look at Adriano Imperador, who played like a Brazilian legend. Like, look at him now. Like, it's sad. Like, it's not because he's fat. It's sad because he doesn't even he can't even doesn't have ball control. Doesn't have like the first touch. So like he's just like completely different. And like you said, if you stop doing it for a long time, like bro, you forget because it's so much practice, so much training in football as well, right? Like doing the same motion. So like the same
Mhm.
thing in with languages, right? Like you just have
Yeah.
to speak, like to not get rusty. Like you have to speak. There's just no way to keep. Maybe if you know the language really well, maybe you can keep at a certain level, but like you're definitely gonna get words, and you're gonna forget a lot of words when you're gonna say something. The words are gonna disappear. Like gonna be like, wow, they say this, because that's how I got with Italian, for example. Right now, my Italian is very much rusty. Not
The
doing
words is
anything.
up here. I think that this is a very good example. Like you try to recall words or you need time. And sometimes we don't notice that we say, uh, like, and you see that people who are recalling the words, they make noises, or and for people who are listening to them during the interaction, sometimes it's not very pleasant.
No.
So pleasant. So it's also good for the interaction. In some countries, if you start doing a lot of how to say that, they will switch to other language, and you miss an opportunity to interact. So I think this is a great example as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, we keep trying to look for the word, and there's a pauses, and you can't express yourself, and the feeling is very. Nobody likes that feeling, bro. Like nobody likes making a mistake, and nobody likes that struggle of trying to find words and being rusty and not being able to express yourself. Like nobody likes that. Nobody. I can say that you need that to like to go through those stages, yes. But that you like it, like I like it, I don't like it. Definitely not. We all want to be successful and and win with the language, right? Like we want to be like, hey, you did it, right? Like nobody wants to go there and make a billion mistakes in the presentation or something. Hola, Amadeo. Saludos. Amadeo here from Chile, saying saludos to us. And Amadeo was in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, right? I saw you speaking Georgian, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Georgia is such a interesting country that no one talks about. I mean, I have a little bit of
True.
contact because there are a lot of Georgian people here, but they have very interesting cuisine, language, traditions, and I haven't been there, but the pictures of the country, it looks amazing. Very Asian traditions they have. The wine. I mean, I heard. I'm not sure if it's true. I don't want to spread misinformation, but I heard that wine was created in the Caucasus in Georgia, and they have very interesting cuisine as well. So
They
very
speak Russian
underrated country.
too, right? As
I
well.
think, but only I think older generation. I think younger
Mm,
generation, not everyone speaks Russian, and I noticed that also in Warsaw, some Georgians I know they don't like to speak Russian.
no.
So because there was a war with Russia not long ago, and I think that's the reason. But it could be, yeah. But it's also a very underrated country, very, very interesting country. If you, I would like to go there one day.
Same here. We're approaching the end of this episode. I want to say real fast about Georgia. I have a friend there. Um, Christina, she's Russian and she lives in Georgia. So that's why I thought everyone there spoke Russian, but apparently not everyone, right? Like some
Not
people.
everyone, yeah.
There's some
Sam,
people. Yeah.
before we finish this episode, we were talking a little bit before starting the live, and I think you have something very interesting to say about it, which is we talked about Patrick Lencastre, the Brazilian polyglot, that once he said on Instagram that doesn't matter how many languages you speak, it matters what you do with the languages. And what do you think about it?
I think like that's a great quote. I think it should be like one of those that unwritten language learning rules. I post that a lot on Twitter. I think it should be one of those because now it's supposed to be written. Now it's very important. I think um, it's such a important uh, theme that I think you can say a lot about this. You could say, for example, that you have to contribute to society in a way that your duty to actually like do something, like to give something back, and to use the language as a real tool. Also, I also think about the life, like how languages impact our life in this part as well. Not just the part of giving back to society, but also the part to where you're gonna experience so much amazing stuff, right? Like, because if you know Serbian, for example, and you are a foreigner, and you go to Serbia and you speak the language there, my God, I think like Serbs are already people who welcome a lot of people. Like they're very warm and they want to show the culture and like be nice. But like if you speak their language, man, like you become part of the family. That's what I think. Like so that was just an example, but you can use like the language is gonna help you in your career. The interactions you're gonna have with people because of language can really actually save your life or make your life a lot better. So I think those two things are what come to my mind when I hear this sentence by Patrick. Very very well said, Patrick. Congratulations.
100%. And I also I don't know if I shared already here in the podcast, but I started doing stand up comedy, and I feel that I'm using English and other languages for stand up in as a tool to do something different. So I see something practical. It's not only okay, I can communicate with people. No, I'm making art. I'm making communication, and I really like that. To create their own things, to create my own jokes in a foreign language because I haven't done that in Portuguese. So I feel really nice doing that in a foreign language. I see how useful it is not only for communication but for art, for entertainment, for many other reasons. So also what you said what you said is beautiful about giving back to the society, right? And I definitely would like to give back to to Brazilian society everything I've learned about languages, to try to help people to that have similar background, and use all this knowledge about language learning as something that can impact the society, because I feel that many Brazilians, they miss a lot of good opportunities because they don't speak languages.
That's so true. That's so true. And also, like, I think you are already helping society, and I'm glad that you want to continue doing it because just like talking about it, I think talking about methods and just sharing knowledge is already a way to make it for free, right? Like sharing it for free. I think it's your, especially it's okay if you charge. It's your like life. Like even we have stuff that we do that's part of our work as well. But we also give a lot of stuff for free because like we want to help. That's our main thing. Like we don't want to like we're just doing this for money. Like on the contrary, if it was just for money, I wouldn't even be here. Right?
100%, yeah, 100%. And also because I don't know if you noticed that, but when we met, I was publishing one episode per week. Last year I was publishing two episodes per month, and it's the frequency has decreased because I have more things to do. Inflation, I need to work more, and I'll do other stuff. And if you help the us in financially, we can produce more content and better content with better equipment. And that's why we always mention patrons and or how to support the project, because it can help the message to reach more people and the content to become even better.
Oh, absolutely. So if you like what you're listening to and you can help, Like Eliseu said, we can do more episodes, more stuff, more content, and it's just gonna help us keep going. So yeah, like it's also a pleasure for us to do this. Like we love doing this, and we want to do it more. But in order to do it more, we also need support because um, we need to buy equipment, like Eliseo said. Like we need more. We need to have time to do this, and since we are working so much, we don't have as much time to do the podcast, and we do the most we can with as much as we have right now. So it's gonna just gonna get even better and better. I'm sure we're gonna keep reaching a lot of people, and this is just gonna grow and grow more and more. I'm certain. And thank you everyone who is listening to this, who is a patron. Thank you so much. I really, you guys keep us going, and you're really supporting us. And everyone who's listening as well, thank you for your support.
Yeah,
It
we
really
can
means a
mention
lot.
all the patrons. Yeah, so we have Mattia, Nevena, Linda, Maria. So it helps a lot, and yeah. So, and also now I'm really glad that you are part of the project because also helps me to produce different content, better content, and together we can do something better for sure.
Absolutely. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. This was amazing. It's the first episode of season 2 of SamThing To Say. It's a pleasure. I'm really happy and excited for the future. And I hope you guys had an amazing time listening to this. I hope it has helped you with your language methods. And right now, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
listening.
To the next episode. See you guys.
See ya.